No, there's a lot of things to like. I think number one, when you hear the backstory, a guy that's overcome some adversity, obviously, special human. I got a lot of respect for Dan Lanning, what they've done at that program.
NFL draft recap with Sean McVay and Les Snead. These are clips taken from the full press conference on the Rams YouTube channel. Fully encourage you to go and check that out. They do talk about a couple of different topics that I'm not going to touch out in this video. I mainly have connected the clips and I'm going to react to them talking about the day 2 draft picks in Terrance Ferguson, the tight end, and also Josaiah Stewart, the edge rusher. Looking forward to having both of them on the Rams. The more and more I read about these guys, the more and more I see these picks made sense. I think this is going to be a great draft, for the Rams. I love that they were able to pick up that first round pick with their epic trade on night 1. And then coming in here, day 2, I don't think they disappointed. I think these were meat and potato guys that the Rams needed, and they will help fill some needs on this roster. But you don't want to hear from me. Let's listen into Sean McVay and Les Snead, and we'll react to them accordingly. And I'll just point out, I cut out the parts where the reporters are asking the questions because you really can't make out what they're saying at all, even if I try and boost it as much as I can. However, it is interesting hearing about what Sean McVay and Les Snead have to say about the Rams draftees today. And so they first start talking about Terrance Ferguson, and then they kind of weave between the two players. And you can tell they're excited. They're excited.
We are. So we're jacked to have Terrence from Oregon, and I think someone asked me about him earlier. If you look at the body language of the tape, you could tell you hit a nerve. Acted like I didn't know his jersey number. And then we came back with Josiah in the 3rd round. He's a really fun player to watch at Michigan. Stat sheet says it all, from Coastal Carolina, transfer up to Michigan. Plenty of sacks, pressures, TFLs, relentless player. I think it'd be, Sean, Sean's a big fan.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things to like. I think number one, when you hear the backstory, a guy that's overcome some adversity, obviously, special human. I got a lot of respect for Dan Lanning, what they've done at that program. And then you just watch the body of work. He reminds me a lot of Chris Cooley. He's got some similar body mannerisms to Travis Kelce, which Chris Cooley is one of the first players that I ever coached in this league. He's a great football player. You could see he had a great feel, great savvy.
Chris Cooley was a great tight end for Washington. That's a cool take for that. That's a high praise for McVay to honor Terrance Ferguson at the tight end position, to compare him to Chris Cooley. That's really cool.
And then, same thing. I remember my first year coaching tight ends, evaluating Travis Kelce coming out of Cincinnati. Those are big, lofty comparisons. So certainly not saying that he's those guys yet, but there's a lot of instincts. You see he plays with a change of pace when the ball gets in his hands. I think he can play in the C area. He's moved around the formation. When things go off schedule, he shows what a great feel he has to find soft spots. I thought he and Gabriel had a great rapport. And so I'm really excited to get him in that tight end room with Tyler Higbee, with Colby Parkinson, with Davis Allen. It allows us to be able to explore maybe doing some different things. We'll see where it goes, but he's a stud. We're very excited about him.
Yeah, okay. And it reaffirms that this draft pick it's another wrinkle in this quest to versatile the Rams offense, or to make it more versatile. It's another wrinkle. I love it, and I love the pick even more hearing McVay talk about Ferguson that way. Can't hear the question.
You said it, Nick. I mean, you kind of mentioned it with the question, and that's been a consistent theme that I think when you look at, we've tried to really lean in, in all the drafts that we've been together, but I think especially over the last couple drafts, our guys in Les and his group do an excellent job of being able to measure the intangibles and trying to be able to put that into a collective score, and he scored incredibly high with that. And then most importantly, when you trust the vetting and the background that's done on the human being, what he's done, what he's about, his play energy, his tape talks to you in a way that's reflective of what we feel like looks like a Ram. And so ultimately it's about getting to work with him. I think he's going to be in a room with a lot of great guys, and excited for Scott Huff to be able to help that group continue to develop.
You know what? It worked the last few times we've done that. Maybe our entire DL is that. But Coastal Carolina obviously is a level, and he was playing really good football there. But when he transferred up and had 2 really, really productive years at Michigan, and again during their national championship run, and even this year, he's just one of those guys when you turn it, or if you're watching a game on Saturday just on your television, you're like who? I think he went to 0 this year, maybe because he was teammates with Sarenstall. Maybe he was 5 the year before, but you're like, who's 5? And they had really good defensive linemen, but he's that guy that's jumping off the field, playing relentless. I think he had a really good Rose Bowl game last year in front of a lot of people, and it was just fun to watch, especially against a guy like Milroe.
What do you like about his personality? You guys drafted about they have to be a Ram.
You know what? It's interesting. Probably with him too. It comes to life on the field as someone who is just tenacious, plays urgent, is just going to give more effort than the next guy, and then you notice it. And then it's the guy he is big. He's 250, but he's shorter. So the stature, but to see someone go, you know what? I'm gonna go toe to toe with those pulling guards, getting that dirty, as Sean says, the C area, play with those big tackles, especially last year against Alabama. They've got a first rounder and they got some big tackles. So someone of smaller stature, even though he's 250, to see him play tough and physical in there kind of reminds us of a lot of the guys we have.
I think it's a cyclical league. I mean, I can remember even when we first got here, and in Washington, we had really leaned into some heavier tight end personnel groupings. We drafted Gerald Everett with our first pick when we got partnered up, and I think you look at it, the more that you can present and be multiple with a variety of blocking surfaces, some different personnel groupings. We got a lot of confidence in Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen, obviously with Tyler Higbee leading the way. So being able to add Terrance to that group is a big deal. What that means, I think it allows us to be more versatile, and we still have to put the work in, but there's a vision. I think with both of these players, the tape speaks to you. Obviously the intangibles, they're incredibly appreciated on our end, but also the tape speaks to us in terms of the competitor, the play style. You talk about Josiah, even, people say he might measure a little bit undersized. He doesn't play undersized. Let's just mention that. Yeah. But Terrance will provide us the opportunity to have some different things come to life potentially, but we've got a lot of work to put in the meantime.
I love that. I love hearing McVay nerd out about the guys that the Rams draft, and sounds like Terrance Ferguson's in good hands. I think this was probably the best team for him to get drafted to, and when you got a guy like Sean McVay who talks about you that way, yeah, you're in good hands. You're in really good hands.
Possibly. I think Nick Hampton's a guy that's capable of doing those types of things as well, Jordan. I think he does. I think when you look at it, if you are able to present different rushers throughout the course of the game, it's just like tackles. You get used to going against somebody, but when you can change up your pitches and you've got different types of rushers where it's Verse, it's BY, it's Josiah, you look at Nick Hampton is a guy that we are excited about. Brennan Jackson still has some things that, we're excited to be able to watch his development into year 2. And even Kiara Thomas played really well when he got an opportunity to contribute. So the answer is yes, he does have the ability to project into doing those types of things. There's a similar system in regards to what they've been doing, what he's been doing at Michigan. You see a versatile skill set to be able to rush, to be able to cover. But ultimately, we'll see, and we're excited to get to work with these guys.
So there you have it. It sounds like Sean McVay and Les Snead are really excited to get to work with Terrance Ferguson and Josaiah Stewart as they begin their NFL careers. I think that these are 2 picks that will help the Rams compete for a Super Bowl in 2025. I think that when you listen to the phone calls of both these players, especially Ferguson, you get that vibe. They are pursuing excellence. They are pursuing a NFL career that will be, they're not just like a practice squad guy that's going to drift around from team to team. No, they want to come into an organization. They want to be with that organization. They want to get to that next level. They want to win football games. They want to win playoff games. They want to win Super Bowls. And that is why I am excited. I think the Rams scouting department did their due diligence. I think that they nailed these picks. The more and more I research about these guys, the more and more I like it. Again, I'm not big into draft grades right away because you really can't tell until, a year at least, maybe a couple games. Maybe you can tell in training camp. Who knows if you're a really good scout. But I'm really excited for both these young players to come in here, start their NFL careers, especially I think immediately Ferguson can learn from pros like Tyler Big Rig Higbee and Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen as well as a young tight end. It's a diverse tight end room with the draft selection of Ferguson. I think that he just puts like I said in my other video, just puts a couple wrinkles in there that teams aren't going to be expecting or teams that they have to prepare for, right? And leading up to the draft, you heard both Stafford and McVay talk about the need to make the offense more versatile. And I really think Ferguson has that potential. And I appreciated hearing McVay talk about, a tight end that was very productive in Chris Cooley in Washington, with McVay. So it's cool. It's really cool. I trust this Rams scouting department, and I definitely trust Les Snead and Sean McVay. I would love to know your thoughts, your opinions, your comments. Let me know in the comments below. And do you enjoy this type of video? Because I'll keep doing it if people like it. I had fun making this one. Anyway, that's going to do it for this Rams recap of the 2025 Draft Day 2. I think the Rams are cooking. They're cooking. Let's see what happens tomorrow. As always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. Let's go Rams. Feel free to check out some of my other videos if you haven't already. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff.